And
Thank you. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about books. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, and
and
we are so happy that you are here to learn everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote a great book. I'm co-founder of our company, celebrating 9 years in business and 60 books, and we're here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer, author of Nun Better, an amazing love story, a bestseller, and Joyously Free and Healing Religious Hurts, which we co-authored. And so we are here now to share a very special message about the next level of the book that you're writing. Joni, welcome and happy Valentine's Day.
you, Elizabeth, and happy Valentine's Day to you too. Oh my gosh, we are decked out in our reds, aren't we?
Yes.
Woo!
Yes, yes, it's
I
really
was trying to
fun.
find my pink, not just my red, because I always think of Valentine's as red and pink.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. You probably have pink roses in your garden if they're not covered in snow right now, right?
No snow and no roses. They are pruned back. Thank you, but I do
Oh.
have pink ones. You probably have the snow.
We have a ton of snow. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. I actually shoveled it yesterday and it was just really nice to be outside and getting that exertion. I just love it. So, but
Nice.
Valentine's Day is a time when our hearts are warm and we're happy and always grateful for heat and shelter. And Joni, we have a hot topic today, don't we?
We do. We do. We do. We do. And do you want to kick it off or do you want me to?
Well, it's really exciting for you, so why don't you please share the announcement?
Okay. The announcement is the audiobook of None Better is out for the world. Oh my gosh, I have been dancing and prancing and texting and emailing, and I'm just so thrilled. And the people that have responded that have already ordered it, I'm getting feedback. Mike, you
Oh,
stayed up till 4:30 in the morning listening to me as I read it.
oh,
And he finally said, Joni, I've got to get some sleep, but I'm enjoying it. I don't want to put it down. I love hearing your voice. And that's what
oh.
we're going to talk about today, right?
That is
Oh,
so great. Okay. So the cool thing, there's lots of things here. If you are working on a book or if you've published a book, audiobooks are really the way to go. More and more people love to listen to audiobooks while they're driving, commuting, walking, just being around the house. I've always got something playing so I can learn. I call it my ears are hungry to be stimulated by good stories, good information. So we're sort of hooked on this concept of listening to something while we're doing other stuff. And so if you have a book, you have a story, do an audiobook. There's lots of ways to go about doing it. And Audible is the main place where audiobooks are sold, and they're produced through a website called acx.com. This is all owned by Amazon. So when you do your audiobook, it populates on Amazon and lots of other places and it can appear next to your physical books, your ebook, I mean your hardcover, paperback, and your ebook. So there's four formats, like our mother's book, her audiobook shows up with her book. So it's really cool. It gives your readers, listeners a whole new option. And Joni, you did it in a unique manner. Can you talk about the production of your audiobook?
absolutely. Are you able to pull up the Amazon where the audiobook of None Better is? Are you able to do that
Sure,
while I talk?
let me try.
Okay, let you
Why don't
try.
you
Okay.
talk about how you did it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's sort of a long story, but I'm going to try to make it really short. Okay. Elizabeth and Catherine and I kicked it into gear thinking that we were going to have a narrator for it. That was our first thing because I was so busy doing book events and I had never done this before. And honestly, Elizabeth, I have a confession to tell you and everybody here. I have only listened to one audiobook in my life,
Oh,
and that was on a
wow.
CD like 15 or 20 years ago that Carol and I put in the player in the kitchen. And so I have never listened to one. But the process was in my mind was, and I'm going to give you my prop here. It was Angel Carol. It was Valentine's Heart Angels that triggered it in my mind that I
Oh,
would be able to read this. because we
Mhm.
tried to find some narrators and that just didn't work. And
Mhm.
then everybody kept telling me, Joanie, you need to read it. You need to read it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a huge project. I've never done this before. I've got to have Angel Carroll with me. And so Angel Carroll stuck with me. And so I
Oh.
thought, well, where am I going to go? How am I going to do this? So the process was, how do I find a place to record this? So
Mhm.
lo and behold, oh, there it is. There it is.
Mhm.
Just get so thrilled. Oh,
So you
do you
can
know
all
that
see
means
it says,
4 books in 2 years, 3 written books and an audiobook, all in less than 4 years.
wow,
Uh,
that's amazing. That's so
yep,
inspiring.
yep. So thank you for pulling that up. So as you're looking at the screen right here, and the left-hand side underneath the pink audio book cover, None Better, it says preview, and you can click on that preview. And
This is
uh,
one.
Okay.
okay, so when you click on that, you actually hear my voice describe the first
title
2,
of
3 or 4 minutes
this
of the
is
introduction. Can
Nun
you do that
Better,
real quick,
an
Elizabeth?
amazing love story. The authors are Joanie Lindenmeyer with Carol Tierheimer. Narrated by me, Joanie Lindenmeyer. Copyright 2023, Joanie Lindenmeyer, all rights reserved.
That's so cool.
Isn't that
That's
cool? So
awesome.
everybody, you can go in and hear my voice in the preview of that. So anyway, so back to the process. I texted a few people or studios, I phoned a few places, and it just wasn't happening. And lo and behold, I ended up meeting somebody in town, Tom Bozak, and he goes, Joanie, you can use the studio right here. We can do this. I said, have you ever done this before, Tom? He goes, no. I said, me neither. Let's go for it. So we did. So beginning in September of 2024, we started going for it. And with my headphones around my ears and in the studio, and I've got my book that I'm going to read it from. And this is the exact book that I read it from. We went at it, and it took many, many times, even though it came out at 10 hours and 6 minutes, it was probably equal to about, I think, between 50 and 60 hours of editing and listening to it to make sure everything was correct. And so inside this book here, talk about the process. Okay. And I have a bookmark. I would yellow or highlight as we edited it what words I mispronounced, or what words was not clear, or maybe I had a gulp in my voice, or maybe I had my sobbing tears going and I had to blow my nose and snort into my Kleenexes, which the Kleenex box was there, or maybe I got into a hysterical laughing fit. And so all these things we had to edit and check out, but it was a riot doing this with Tom. So that was the process. And then from there, once we completed it all, thanks be to God that Tom and you, Elizabeth, were able to catch me if I'm wrong here, load, download, stream load, everything that needed to happen. Can you jump in and talk about that part?
So yeah, I really want to clarify that this is unusual because usually our authors work with a voice actor on acx.com, which is Audible's production platform. And there's two ways to go about doing it. Either the author can pay the voice actor an hourly rate, and as you know, it took many hours to actually record your book and then have the producer do the techno part and all that. So it can be quite expensive. Whereas most authors choose to do the 50-50 royalty split. So there's no upfront out-of-pocket payment to the voice actor. Instead, the voice actor through the platform will get half the royalties. And Joni, from the beginning, you were like, I want to own it. I want to receive all the royalties myself. I'd rather pay someone. And then, as you just said, you decided to record it yourself. So then, as with everything that you've done, things evolve, people show up, opportunities and situations happen, and it just creates this wonderful divine synchronicity for you to produce your book. So you met with the right producer because otherwise authors have to rent studio time, pay a producer, pay them to do the editing, pay them to do the uploading of all the files. And you had a couple dozen chapters. So my job was to upload it all to the acx.com, which put it on Audible, which put it on Amazon and elsewhere. So there's a lot of steps. So you, as the aspiring author out there, you need to decide how you're going to proceed, what works best for you. Oftentimes, budget dictates how you're going to go. That's why most authors decide to do the 50-50 royalty split. And so, Joni, you just went for it. We have other authors who are doing their own as well, and they really prefer because it's their voice. However, as you know, there's some training that needs to be done because when we talk, our mouths make all kinds of weird sounds that we don't notice until we're on a microphone and then listening, right? Like you said, coughing, clearing your throat, little popping sounds that your mouth might make. And so, really important to be cognizant of that. One of the authors that we know who did her own audiobook, she actually worked with a coach so she could learn how to enunciate in a manner that is engaging, so you don't have monotone, how to avoid all those weird mouth sounds, how to sound engaging. And so you did, you're naturally energetic and, excited. And you were able also to convey the emotion of the story because not only is it a happy love story, there's also fear, there's also anger, there's also grief and anxiety when Carol got sick. So you were
Mhm.
able to do all of that. So our message for all of you aspiring authors out there regarding your own audiobook, it's really important to research and figure out which is the best route for you. Any advice for people, Joni?
Practice. I would sit in the living room and I would literally practice reading everything and anything that I had loud, like I was a little a teacher reading to little kids,
Mhm,
or a parent reading a book. But I would just practice reading and
mhm.
making sure that I wasn't saying the ums, or making sure that I
Right.
was really reading the words and
Mhm,
thinking about what those words really meant to me. And so when certain words hit me, I knew that that was like, oh my gosh, that's energy, or that's sadness, or that's,
uh-huh.
and I'm an emotional quotient person over an intelligent quotient person anyway. So
Mhm,
the emotions, when anybody reads or listens to my audiobook now, you will definitely hear me. It'll be like
uh,
sitting right next to me and me reading your book. And
yeah.
one of the things that, two rambles here. One is that this will be a legacy for my family and friends. I'm going to probably get emotional here. When Carol died, Elizabeth, the thing that I most missed, traumatized, my grief part, I couldn't hear her voice.
Hmm.
I have nothing in this world right now that shows and tells me and lets me hear her voice. I don't have any recording of her. And
Wow.
so that was a big impetus for me to do this book as well, that when I am dead and gone, or I cannot be with you in person, you can hear my voice.
Uh-huh.
And to me, that's relationship, that's love, that's Valentine's. And so
Mm.
and from the very beginning of me meeting Carol, it was by her voice that touched my heart. And I
Right.
think voice is so incredible, and I can hear her giggle, I can hear your giggle, I can hear my sister's giggles, I can hear in those voices of conversations and relationships. That's what is important to me, and that's what I wanted to relay to everybody out there. So all you authors, that if you're thinking about doing an audiobook, your voice is so powerful in its
Mhm.
tonnage, but it's also powerful in what you have to say in terms of content.
I love
So
that.
it's two things. It's content and it's your voice. And
Uh-huh.
all I could visualize as I first started to do this was I could hear and see people in their car with me coming out of their speaker. I could hear in their earphones at a workout that they've got me talking to them. Like all these different scenarios were flashing through my mind of how people could, at their own convenience, their own time,
Mhm.
listen.
That
And,
is
and to me,
amazing.
That's so powerful. And I thank you immensely. I thank Catherine immensely. I thank Tom immensely. And so,
Yeah.
oh my gollies, what a journey. What a journey.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So I'm always telling everybody I meet to write their story. And I say, if you don't want to do the writing, take your phone and just make videos of you telling all of your favorite stories. And then another thing to do is you can do voice to text. And so you can also do audio recordings. And so that will preserve a person's voice. And so I actually have one friend, and they're having their father, who's very important in Detroit and American history, and they're in their 80s, actually recording videos every time they're together of telling those stories you've told a million times about your life, your career, at dinner parties and such. And so really, really important. But Joni, the actual preservation of voice, that's a super powerful message. I love that.
Incredible. And
Yeah.
it's so true. You know, you can read it in a card or in a book, but when you hear that voice, and
Mhm.
like I said, during my grief, oh my gosh, I was just craving every day to hear her voice. And there was
Wow.
no voice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh boy. Woohoo.
oh, wow. And
Speaking of
think
voice,
about,
oh,
hmm?
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about the people whose voices bring me comfort, even if it's just a quick phone call, just the sound of their voice doesn't even matter what they're saying. It's so powerful. But thankfully, the human brain is really good with our memory and we can hear people's voices. Like I can hear my father and other passed on loved ones. And so, but thanks to all the technology we have, we can record those voices. So, Joni, how long did it take you to do all the recordings?
I'm thinking between 50 and 60 hours.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
what?
by the time I did all the edits, and because after it was completed, well, and we did it by chapter. So after each chapter, Tom would send it to me and I would listen in detail, mark down on my computer. I would have my notebook. And here is my notebook actually, that I would write down, okay, at 1 minute, 1.31, I mispronounced this word. Or at
Oh.
2 minutes and 55 seconds, there was too long of a pause, or all these things that I needed to do, but I had to give him the time element so that he could go back and edit and change that. And then we would redo. And so to go back and redo, it was like, how do I keep the same pace and the same energy that is previous? So
Mm.
sometimes I had to reread a paragraph, or sometimes I had to reread a whole page to make
Mm.
it consistent so that the reader's like, well, how come her voice sounds different now than it did the first time, you know? And so
Mhm.
all those things are super, super important. You know,
Yes,
good
yes, yes,
question.
excellent.
Good question.
And did you go to an actual studio to do this?
Oh, Elizabeth, you led right into that one. Oh my gollies. Okay, so it's my local radio station, KCIW. So that's unbelievable that you bring that up, because after we finished, Tom and the entire board of KCIW asked me if I would have my own radio show. And so I have now begun my own radio show. It will air, everybody, Monday morning, 9 o'clock, February 17th.
Wow.
February 17th. The next day, February 18th, it will be available as a podcast on kciw.org. And
Mhm.
guess what the name of my show is?
What? What?
Joyously Free by Joanie Lindenmeyer.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, KCIW 100.7 FM.
Oh, that is amazing. Look at how
Isn't that
that
amazing?
works.
So it will
Yes.
air every week locally here, Monday morning, 9 o'clock. That's the
Mhm.
time slot that they have given me, and I'm so blessed. And again, it will be on the website, kciw.org, the
Mhm.
following day, which will be Tuesday. And that will also be global, because it's going NPR.
Okay, it's on the
Okay.
NPR syndication. That's amazing.
Yes, that's amazing. And so far I've pre-recorded nine people, and they're all phenomenal. So I start with a prayer. I start with Joanie's little golden nugget reflections. Then we get into a guest speaker. And because it's joyously free, of course, it has to do with anything to do with LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
as well as church, religion, spirituality, and being joyously free. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody, Elizabeth is going to be on it as well. We have an interview scheduled for next week. And so in a month or so, once that process all happens, she will be live on kciw.org with Joanie
Yeah.
Lindenmeyer. And she has trained me. Elizabeth has trained me once again to use my voice, to ask questions, and to listen. I think that's the biggest thing that Elizabeth has taught me is we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And Joanie, listen, try not to interrupt as much.
That's awesome. We are so proud of you, Joanie. You are just taking things to upper levels, um you're just an exemplary author who's always doing things. You went to 10 prides last year. You've just been going full speed ahead, and it's really amazing. So this is just the next thing, which is phenomenal. And so let's remind everybody that the title of your show, Joyously Free, is the name of the book that we co-authored, Joyously Free: Stories and Tips to Live Your Truth as LGBTQ plus people, parents, and Allies, which came out for Pride 2024. And I'm excited that this book is needed all the more in our
Yes.
world for people to find
Yes.
the courage and confidence to come out, be out, celebrate who they are, and advocate. So, really important. I'm glad you're talking on these topics. And also, I'm going to be talking about the brand of our business, the mission of our business at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, which is celebrating diverse voices on the
Yes.
pages of books.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, for sure. So, and then thank you to you. And if you want to pull it up right now, I love what Catherine did in putting the audiobook of None Better onto the Two Sisters Writing, onto your Two Sisters bookstore.
Uh-huh.
And under None Better, then she has a whole section there, and you have rewritten some things in there to include the audiobook. And it's just wonderful what the two of you have done that way. So if people want to visit Two Sisters Writing, twosisterswriting.com,
.com.
right, then they can go in and see, and they can order all the above, and they can read about it and hear. I don't think you can hear on that, but you can definitely read all about it. So,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can pull that up or not, but that's
I'm
cool.
trying. I'm trying
Okay.
right now.
And then the
Yeah.
other thing that is happening is that I have a new short film by Mike Gorse, and
Mhm.
it's called Joyously Joanie.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you can pull that one up, or I can do it right here on my phone.
Oh no, we can put the link here. It's too much to play here because it starts off
Okay.
with that music and everything. It's really nice. So yeah, you can just share that, send me the link and I can put it here in the I can't find the audiobook, Joni, but
Okay.
here, let me just share the Amazon where people can see where to get it, and we can put the link here as well. So I'm sharing the screen right now so everybody can see the audiobook, and you can see the difference is audiobooks have a square cover and it's on Audible. So yeah, it's alongside her ebook, hardcover, and paperback, which is really wonderful. So, Joni, congratulations. Any final advice to the aspiring authors out there about why they should do an audiobook?
Yes. Thank you. And I love how you always end with that question. And I do the same thing on my radio show now, too. Any final thoughts?
Mhm.
My final thoughts are do both. Do the written and do the voice, because there are people that have difficulty reading but can
Mhm.
hear better. And also, you will have more emotion expressed in the voice, I think, compared to the reading.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that's my thing. I think you just have a lot more emotion that exudes
Mhm.
from your audiobook. And why not? Why not do two of them? You know?
Right, right. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And do you
Do
recommend that?
you have an audiobook?
I've started them and I've been recording them with my equipment here. So I'm
Nice.
doing the first one that I'm doing is God's Answer is No,
Yes.
KNOW, Lessons from a Spiritual Life, my memoir, because that's really my life assignment from God, from Spirit, to share the power of every human being to access this divine energy and use it to be a light in the world, because the more light the fewer shadows. And there's a lot of shadows right now.
The light, yes. That would be wonderful to hear your voice doing that. And you didn't hire a narrator. You're the one doing it because
Oh,
you
no.
have an incredible voice, Elizabeth.
Thank
Look at
you.
all the podcasts and interviews you do. I mean, that is your guru specialty. And so to hear your voice and to hear all your what do you call them? Inflections and tones and all that will be fabulous.
Thanks, Joni. Well, I've had a lot of practice with My Healthy Mind, the TV show that I've co-hosted since 2015, which is 9 years. And I was super blessed to work with a broadcast coach who taught me and my co-host, Michael Hunter, how to actually talk and sit and ask questions and make things flow. And then as a naturally curious person, it just comes naturally for me when I interview people, and I love it. So thank you. And yes, that is the first one. And you've been a tremendous inspiration about how to get it done. And I want everybody to write your story, tell your story, preserve it. The act of writing your story, telling your story is so self-affirming. It shows you what you've survived. It shows you how strong you are. It enables you to reflect on what you've accomplished in life against the odds, oftentimes, whether it's your health, your emotions, relationships, career, finances, whatever it is. It really boosts your confidence when you look at your story. And then when you share it with people like you've done, Joni, and
Oh
people
my
just,
gosh.
yeah, changes their lives. Like the 85-year-old lady who came up to you and came out for the
Yeah.
first time ever to anyone.
Yep. Yep.
Think about the power because she read your book and she met you. That's incredible. And
Right.
so there's so much power in the pen. Everybody needs to flex it, seize it, share it now. And we are showing you so many different ways to write, publish, and promote a book. And now with an audiobook.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
what
thank you
better?
to you and Catherine for being open-minded. I think that's a lot of it, is being open to another venue, to another way to express. And so I
Mhm.
appreciate that so much of you and Catherine. You're always open-minded to every author's um uh uniqueness, I guess. And I've
Yes,
met many of your
absolutely.
authors before, and I love how you put on the Two Sisters webpage that you have other people that have done memoirs and audiobooks. And so that's really, really cool,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
including
there's
your mom.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. There's nothing wrong with letting an actual professional voice actor do it because we hired this wonderful woman who did my mother's and she's done another of our authors. And my mother doesn't want to sit in a studio and record her book. She just doesn't. She wants someone else did it a beautiful job and people love listening to it. So there's no shame in that game if you decide to let someone else do it. You want it done right, you want it done professionally, you want it done with accuracy. And so whichever way, but we're providing two different ways for you all to go with your own audiobook. So what better way to celebrate Valentine's Day today than talking
Yes,
about None Better, an amazing love story by Joanie Lindenmeyer and
yes.
Carol Tierheimer. So thank you, Joanie. I hope you have a really happy Valentine's Day. You are
Thank you.
always sharing such joy and love. Every day is Valentine's Day for you. And here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, I am ghostwriting a book, so I need to get back to work. It's
Okay.
going great. I love it. Snowy day, sitting here in my genius zone writing. It's blissful for me. So
Oh,
I
very
wish,
good.
oh, thank you.
I said very good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wish all of you a very happy Valentine's Day. Celebrate yourself. Love on yourself today. And if you can do that by writing, that's all the better. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, co-founder of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, here with our superstar author, Joanie Lindenmeyer. We go live every Friday to talk about everything you need to know to write, publish, and promote your life story, your business book, or your novel. Please visit twosisterswriting.com where you can learn about how I can be your book coach, like I coached Joni, who'd never written a book before, to write her
Yeah.
book, None Better, in 5 months instead of 6 months, like the program says. So we wish you the best. Happy reading and happy writing.
Bet. Happy Valentine's